ice hockey gold medal game in Gangnam, South Korea. And you're watching the handsome Paul Byron and the Cerebral Don Cherry on Post to Post.
Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. This is our last series preview of the conference finals. There's only two series, Washington versus Tampa Bay, and then of course the series we're going to talk about, Winnipeg versus Las Vegas. This is a very tough series for me to talk about for a couple of reasons. You've got some notes here. Usually I'm the one with notes. You've got notes here. I'm just going to go off the top of my head, from the heart, how I feel, and hopefully we can both come to a conclusion as to who's going to win this series.
All right.
What are your thoughts, just straight off?
Straight off, I think Winnipeg is the favorite to win the series, but people have been betting against Vegas and losing money all year. So
yeah, you're right. It's, I mean, it's kind of a weird playoffs because Tampa Bay, the top of the Atlantic, Washington, the top of the Metro, Vegas, the top of the Pacific, and Winnipeg, which was like basically top of the Central, like 1 point behind Nashville. Very could have easily been top of. So we have these four powerhouse teams, but one of them's an expansion team.
Yeah,
people still are underestimating Vegas.
There,
I think at this point, at the very latest, this should have happened a long time ago. In my opinion, people should stop underestimating Vegas. They should take Vegas seriously because, yes, we said this in I think a previous video. Yeah, Vegas is a new team. Las Vegas has got a NHL team for the first time, but these players aren't from Las Vegas. These players have played on the rest of the NHL teams. So to say that this team is an expansion team is correct, but to say this team is new, as far as the players go, is incorrect. These players have so much experience.
Some of them have Stanley Cup rings.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them are trying to go for their third Stanley Cup in 3 years in Marc-Andre Fleury. And you could say that he is leading the team thus far in the playoffs.
Is he ever?
And not just him, but he played a very large contributing factor. But on the other side, you have Winnipeg. They won their first playoff game this year. People could probably maybe kind of underestimate them at the same time. Could it be a bit of a fluke this season? Because last season they weren't that great, and the season before that they weren't that great either. They got great goaltending this year for luckily the first time. And I think that if you're looking from the Vegas perspective and you look at Winnipeg, if they lost that good goaltending for one series, could Winnipeg still win?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Winnipeg's a very good team up front and on the back end, but without good goaltending, they don't win the series. I guess you could say that for any team in any series, but specifically Winnipeg needs Hellebuck to be amazing.
And he has been very, very good.
Very good, yeah.
His goals against average is 2.25, and that's high by some standards, but they've been in some real shoot-em-ups in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
So your numbers are going to be high. His save percentage is .927, which is very, very good.
Yeah.
These aren't Marc-Andre Fleury numbers, but you have to remember that Marc-Andre Fleury's numbers are in some ways heavily affected by that first 4 games of the playoffs where they played LA and every game was just a 1-goal game and very low scoring.
Yeah.
So Marc-Andre Fleury's numbers are crazy. His goals against average is like a 1.53 and his save percentage is .95 something. So it's incredible, the numbers that he's put up, but they've had very different kinds of playoffs, so it's not a really good to directly compare those numbers to try to size up these goaltenders.
Yeah, for sure. Every time two teams go from series to the next series, it's a new team, but it's also a different play structure. You're playing a team that plays differently. Nashville's a very fast team with a very impressive offensively back end. PK Subban, Roman Josi, Ellis, Ekholm, list goes on. Winnipeg, on the other hand, is still a fast team. They definitely have their fast players, but I would consider them definitely a slower team than Nashville. Not as active on the back end. They do have Trouba and Myers and Bufflin. They have the good guys and stuff, but not as offensively gifted. Although these playoffs, they have been pretty offensively helpful on the back end. A very different team than Nashville. A very more physical team. Vegas is going to have to, I think, play much more like they did against, or you could compare Winnipeg a lot more against LA than you could San Jose.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a lot physical, kind of like that LA series. So I think Vegas can match up pretty well against Winnipeg, but I think Winnipeg can match up pretty well against Vegas as well.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, if they play really, really physical and shut them down offensively, I don't think Vegas can outscore Winnipeg. I think that, Vegas has their offensive threats, but in Winnipeg you've got Wheeler, Scheifele, Laine, and then you have the other guys on the team, the unpredictable guys or the underestimated guys who are also putting the puck back in the back of the net, like Stastny, coming out of nowhere.
Stastny's been great. 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. He's third in scoring in the team. He's fabulous.
So I don't think that Vegas can outscore Winnipeg. I think if Vegas is going to win the series, they need to win it with defense. That's my overall opinion of the series. And in Winnipeg's perspective, I think they just have to run and gun. I think they have to skate and keep with Vegas's pace, because Vegas is an incredible transition team in the neutral zone, very fast. They get pucks in deep, and they're good at protecting the puck, much like Winnipeg. This is a very fair series. I can see this going the distance, straight to 7 games.
I do too. I think it will go all the way, and I think home ice advantage will have more to do more of a role to play in this series than it did in the last series for Winnipeg. I think when Winnipeg is home to Vegas, I think the boost will be substantial. And I think when Vegas is home to Winnipeg, their boost will be substantial. Even though Nashville put on a great show, I think the internal feelings of the players and the team, the culture, will be such that they're farther away. It's more of a distance, not a really close rivalry they didn't have, and they haven't been. They've never played each other. Well, they only played 3 times this year. Vegas won 2 of the games. Winnipeg won 1. They were all close. I think one of the games was overtime. So
Vegas, I think, won every seasonal series against every single team except for one. Do you know what team that was?
And it was like Phoenix or something, right?
Edmonton, I think.
Oh, Edmonton. Okay, yeah. I remember we talked about that
I might be
before.
wrong on that fact, but anyway. So seasonal statistics don't mean everything, like we said, but sometimes they do in certain situations, like the Winnipeg 8-0 after the second period when leading, and then 41-1 or something like that in the regular season.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, something crazy.
And in the playoffs, so far, Winnipeg has played 2 more games than Vegas.
That's true.
Hellebuck has played 2 more games than Fleury. So you could argue Fleury's a little bit better rested, but when you're a goaltender and you've had a long break, rest isn't necessarily a good thing. You have to stay sharp. You want to play every couple of days, and Marc-Andre Fleury has not. So this time, for the first time, Vegas is not the home team, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
So they're going to start the series on the road instead of at home. If they can steal one in Winnipeg and regain home ice advantage, then who knows what can happen. But I think they have to win at least one game in Winnipeg, either Saturday night or Monday night, or it will be very hard for them to beat the Jets if they don't do that. They got to steal one on the road.
I agree, definitely. Yeah. I totally agree. One thing that I wanted to bring up, and some could argue that this is a factor and some could argue against it, and it's just silly. But I can't remember where I read it. I don't know if it was someone left a comment, someone tweeted me, someone sent me a private message on Twitter, it was an email or a message on Discord. I have no idea who said it.
You're connected.
I have no idea who said it or where it was, but I remember what they said, and they said, I saw Drew Doughty and some of the LA Kings in Vegas during that round 1 series. They did not look like they were focused or ready to play hockey. They were consumed with Las Vegas.
The environment.
I wonder, I'm not saying it will happen, I'm not saying it could happen, but I wonder if Winnipeg will be a little bit distracted getting down into that heat. It's very hot in Vegas, obviously, on that strip. I suspect that there'll be quite a bit of discipline from the Winnipeg franchise towards the players. Be like, hey, stay off the strip. Don't do nothing foolish. Yeah. We're here to win. We're here to play hockey. We're here to win. So,
Paul Maurice is such a deadpan guy. I could just see him saying to the team, "Okay, guys, we're going to be staying. We're going to be staying out of town. We're going to come in for the games. We're going to go back. If we beat them in this series, I will treat you to a week in Vegas. You can have your fun then, but you're not going to have it now."
Yeah, that's a good impression. Yeah,
Something like that. I'm so excited for this series. I'm also excited for the fact that you're going to see at least one and likely two games.
2 games.
2 games in Vegas, so game 3 and 4. You'll be there in person
Wednesday and Friday night.
next week. That's incredible. And so here we are talking about it from Prince Edward Island in Canada, thousands of miles away. And you're going to be witness to history directly in a couple of days.
It's very strange.
It is.
I can't remember who I was telling the other day. I think it was last night I was talking to someone, and I said, it's really weird that basically live in the middle of nowhere. Prince Edward Island has a population of 141,000 or something like that. Charlottetown, we don't technically live in Charlottetown, but I say we live in Charlottetown, has 35,000 people. If you look at a town in America with 35,000 people, 99% of the people would not know the name of that town because it's so small. But this is the biggest city in Prince Edward Island, so even though I've lived in the biggest city in the province, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere globally.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm going to go to Vegas, a place that is known around the world, and people are going to show up that want to meet me is a very strange. Like, I'm nobody. I'm from nowhere, and the fact that people want to meet me is strange and weird in a good way, obviously. But I'm just not used to it, I guess. But it's going to be very exciting.
You better bring your Sharpie with you.
No. I don't think anyone's going to be wanting autographs. But
Never know.
What I saw a lot of people commenting on the last video. Go gamble here. Go here for free drinks.
Yeah, doesn't work much for you,
No.
does it?
If you guys don't know, I like to play scratch tickets and stuff, but I have no intention of gambling whatsoever. I'm way too stingy with my money to do that. Number 2, I don't drink, so I'm not going to be going there to drink or to party or anything like that. I want to go there to see stuff. And that's something else that someone said in the comments the other day, which was a little frustrating. They were complaining that I was using Patreon money. I said that I was unemployed, which I am. So how can I afford to go to Vegas to see a bunch of games and stuff, and that I was using Patreon money irresponsibly or something like that? Okay, so number 1, the tickets to the Vegas games are free. That my flights are free because I have enough travel points through Aeroplan and on my Scotiabank credit card. I've accumulated enough travel points, so the flights are free. The game ticket is free. The hotel is going to be pretty cheap, and I'm putting everything on credit card and basically paying it off later. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So no, I'm not using a single dollar of Patreon money. That all sits somewhere else. So,
But even if you were,
even if I was,
you're going to cover not just to experience the game, but to bring the fans with you and cover the game. And I think if I were a Patreon donor, I would be happy about that because I'd like to see my money go to Vegas and give me the Vegas experience and bring it back.
Yeah, and I like 99 or maybe 100% of Patreon supporters don't even care what I do with the money, regardless if I use it for whatever I want or if I go to Vegas and cover hockey. They just want to support the channel. So, but it's just frustrating to see someone say that in the comments. And
the someone who said that, if you even know who they are they a Patreon member?
No. It's just frustrating that someone would assume the worst of me like that.
If you're not in that cohort, zip it.
Yeah.
If you're donating on Patreon and you want to weigh in with an opinion on what you think your money should go to, feel free.
Yeah, definitely.
Neil works for you a little bit. But if you're not paying in Patreon, then go away when it comes to comments about his Patreon income, such as it is. Wouldn't call it it helps the channel.
It helps the channel. It goes a long way to pay our bills and stuff for the channel, and that's pretty much it. Can't monetize our videos on YouTube. Can't make any AdSense money. So any money we do get from Patreon basically just goes to do the jersey giveaways, pay for the podcast fee, all that stuff. So.
And the things you're doing in this series when you go to watch these 2 games, and goodness knows where you're going to go after Game 4, right? You could be.
I have a plan actually.
Oh.
It's not confirmed whatsoever, but I know a guy who lives in Berkeley or the Bay Area, basically. So we were talking last night that I may fly from Vegas to San Jose that Saturday morning after Game 4.
Right.
Because the flight is like $26 or something like that. I mean, whatever. So I go there. We would rent a car, drive through Yosemite, back to Vegas for Game 6 to watch the outdoor party, assuming there is a Game 6.
That's right.
For the watch party outdoors. Experience that. Go up to Salt Lake City, where he has some friends, I think. We'll stay there for a couple days. And then that following weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, figure something out then and do something. So
You are going to come back, are you?
yeah, I am going to come back, yeah. That's the plan right now. But yeah, so who knows?
Well, it's quite an odyssey coming up. I'll be traveling a bit myself for some of that period, but I'm going to enjoy watching your antics on More Post to Post.
Yeah, speaking of which, I'll be vlogging every single day on More Post to Post. I've already said that, but for anyone new, I'll be vlogging every single day. So it's on our second channel, More Post to Post. Definitely go subscribe over there. That would be awesome.
And I think people are doing that because I'm looking at the subscriber count over there, and it's up more than
Awesome.
The daily new subscribers are more than usual.
That's very good news.
And it's not just like and subscribe; it's that little bell beside that for notifications,
Right.
so
Yeah,
you know when the videos come out, and you can hop right on and check them out. So
What else was I going to say? Oh, people have been asking me, who am I going to cheer for in Vegas?
that's tough.
It's tough. I'm very conflicted. Listen, I like Winnipeg. I actually want Winnipeg to win. They're a Canadian team. I'm jumping on that Canadian bandwagon. They're the last Canadian team. I do want to see them win and go to the Cup Finals to make my prediction from last year correct. But I'm very much, I will be very happy to cheer for Vegas in Vegas. I'm bringing my Vegas jersey, and the tickets that I'm being given are from a season ticket holder, and there's a clause basically that you have to cheer for Vegas if you're using a season ticket thing, or no team at all. So I definitely will be cheering for Vegas. Cheer for the hometown team. But it's close to 50-50. I'm scared that I'm going to go there, experience the city, fall in love with the city, fall in love with the people, fall in love with the fans, and legitimately want Vegas to take down a Canadian team. I'm scared that I'm going to change my mind. I know I'm going to, because people say so many incredible things about the city. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun.
I'm in much the same boat. I have a great affection for the whole Las Vegas story and the Golden Knights and how the team was built and who's on the team and who's running the team. And I like that whole story, and half of me wants that to continue all the way to victory at the very end and that big silver thing that I won't name. The other half of me wants Winnipeg to win the same thing. And I'll be happy either way, and I'll be sad either way.
Me too.
I want both teams to win.
Yeah.
And apparently I can't have it that way, they tell me. So
Same thing in the Nashville series. Kind of
really,
want both teams to win.
I really did. I'm so happy Winnipeg won, how it turned out, and the whole final game and that series was great, and I was really happy with how it all played out. So I'm happy Winnipeg has won. I'll be happy if Winnipeg wins again. And I'll tell you one thing. Regardless of who wins, Winnipeg or Vegas in this next series, I will be cheering hard for the West.
Yeah, me too.
In the final.
But if Ovi makes it, if Ovi makes the finals, it's going to be...
Because the Canadian team thing is nice, but if it was a team made up entirely of Canadians, I might feel a little more strongly about the Canadian team business. But it's based in Canada. It's in the smallest arena in the league, and that's a great story. Winnipeg is not a huge city either. It's probably one of the smaller size cities in the league. Mm-hmm. And that's all fantastic for demonstrating that the little city that could.
And it would also be a little bit of a Gary Bettman, because he didn't want to bring his team back to Winnipeg. So.
Mm-hmm. And he's really probably part of the reason why the previous Jets went to Arizona or Phoenix. Or was he around then? It was close. It was 96, wasn't it?
I think it was 96. I think he came in 90.
I think he came in 94.
93.
93, 94.
Today was his 25th. Or not today.
That's right.
This year was his 25th.
Anyway, I'm not saying it's all Gary Bettman's fault, but clearly things don't happen in the NHL unless Gary Bettman agrees to it. Just put it that way. He's got a bit of a veto on things. So it's good that whatever happened to bring the team back to Winnipeg, or bring a team into Winnipeg, somehow met with Gary Bettman's blessing. And it would be a great story if that team were to... right now, my team is the last Canadian-based team to win the Stanley Cup.
A very long time ago.
And it's something I'd like to hold on to in a way, that the last time the Cup was brought to Canada and put in a Stanley Cup parade that I was at was 1993 in my team, but that's too long ago. And if my team doesn't want to do it again, then frig them. And let's let Winnipeg or Toronto or someone else do it.
I agree.
So let's do it.
That's the whole hard part about this thing, is that there's a compelling story for every team left.
Yeah.
With Vegas, obviously, we don't even have to explain it. Expansion team, tremendous stories from every player on there, basically. Winnipeg, Canadian team, won their first playoff game this year, yada, yada, yada. Washington, you got Ovi, finally getting past the second round, finally taking down Pittsburgh, finally getting a chance to go on to a Stanley Cup final. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay, you have a team that was devastated a couple years ago to losing in the finals. They lost in the conference finals as well. They've been so close recently, and last year they really struggled, really were down on themselves, injuries and stuff. And this year they're back, so there's a compelling story for every single team in this year's Final Four. So it's hard to choose. Like last year, I was like, Nashville, heck yeah. This year, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know who to pick to win the Cup, like mentally, and I don't know who to pick. I want to win the Cup emotionally.
Yeah,
I'm having a really hard time this year picking, which is a good thing because I'm okay with whoever wins. But I think, have you mentioned your prediction yet for the series?
I don't think I have.
I think that as much as I would love Vegas to continue on to the Stanley Cup Finals and get a cup, a part of me doesn't think they should, because you have teams like Washington, like Buffalo, like St. Louis, who have been in the league since the 70s and have not won a cup, and then this team comes in their first year and gets a cup. That's a little frustrating to those other fans, but I understand the other side of the story too. It would be such an amazing, incredible story that will never be replicated in probably any sports ever. So you almost need it to happen that way. But
St. Louis first took to the ice 4 months after the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
yeah,
So that's how bad it is for St. Louis. You can make fun of Toronto all you want, but St. Louis has toiled, and you're right. Those teams, if there's a rank of teams that deserve to be there, deserve not so much in how well they are built or how well they play, but just how long their fans have suffered, then Vegas is not at the top of that list.
Right. With that being said, I do think that Winnipeg will. I think Vegas's time ends in this round. I think Winnipeg will win this series in 6 or 7 games. That's my official prediction.
I think it'll be Winnipeg in 7. So I do think Winnipeg will win this, and I think I'm 51% cheering for Winnipeg, but the other 49% is really fighting it out.
See, that's where I'm at too. So it's tough.
And if Vegas does beat Winnipeg, I'll be only slightly disappointed. I'll be thrilled for the chance that Vegas has to go on and make this probably the most memorable season in the last 50 years of the National Hockey League. Of the NHL.
If Vegas does make it to the finals, that following weekend that I'm still going to be potentially in Salt Lake City or somewhere, I don't know if I can go do any traveling that other weekend. I might have to drive back to Vegas to experience the Stanley Cup Finals watch party outside or something like that, because that would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So
it would be.
Anyways, I have reasons to cheer for both these teams, and so
I just want good hockey, energetic end-to-end hockey, where the referees don't try to control the game.
Fair
they let the
officiating.
players play, and they don't leave anything undone on the ice. They don't leave any energy in the dressing room. I want a series where nobody gets hurt badly.
Yep. No suspensions,
where there's no drama of that kind. All the drama is the rise and fall of the fortunes of the team based on how it does well or not so well on a given night. I want it to be all the things that hockey's supposed to be. So
I agree completely. Well said. We'll end it there. I think that was a good thing to say. Thanks guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, hope you can hit the subscribe button. If you did like this video, hit the like button, and make sure you go on to our second channel. Like I said, more post to post, where you can catch all my vlogs from when I'm in Vegas, because it's only a couple days away, literally just like a couple days away. So I'll see you in those videos. Adios.